Hello, Louis Saint Laurent coding class. Welcome to the first video lesson, I guess you would call it, that I'm doing for you guys. As usual, going to be doing it in Komodo. This is my favorite editing language. For those of you who don't have it, I highly recommend you guys getting it. It's the best that you can do. You can't go wrong with it, so please go install it right now. Just go to Google, search up, Komodo Edit Tool, whatever, and download the free version. You're not going to want to buy it. Once you've downloaded it, run it, install it, etc., and then get up so that you're at this page. So when you get that, come back. Okay, so now that you guys all have Komodo, go click on New File from Template, and that's going to open up this thing over here. Now what you want to do is you want to open it up so that your local is just in a folder that you want to do it in. You can do it in documents. I'm not saying you can't. If you just want to store it in documents here, you can. But as you can see, I have a lot here. So I've created my own little folder just called Komodo, and I store everything in there. So here's selecting the folder. And I'm going to name it Coding Class 1. You guys can name it whatever you guys want to name it, but remember you have to, remember what it's called so we can come back to this. Because this one that you're writing here, we're going to be coming back to it pretty much for the rest of the time we're doing coding in HTML. So you're going to go up to here and you're going to go to templates and you're going to click on HTML. There's XHTML and HTML5. You don't want that yet, you just want HTML. So you're going to open that. And as you can see, we didn't add over here .html. It says the file name you entered coding class 1 does not have an extension. Would you like Komodo to add the extension .html? You go yes. That's going to see, as you can see up here. Now, as you can see, everything on here was already written for us, the most important stuff. Head, body, HTML, doc type, etc., etc. Now, as you might notice, this says language English. You don't have to worry about that. It's the exact same as if you're ending HTML right there, right? But this one, it denotes to whatever browser you're using that this is going to be written in English. So that's kind of important. As you can see, there's the end HTML right here. Now, what's really, really cool, I think, about this one is if you have something that has an end, right? As you can see these arrows over here, like let's say you've got the body over here. It shows that, right? So let's say, just for example, you've written everything that you want to write in the head once we get to that point. Let's just say you're done with the head tag. You're finished. You don't want to change anything else in it. You click on here, and boom, it goes away. Now all you've got is body. Now it goes down to 11 lines, or sorry, 11 minus 4 lines essentially. 5 lines. Or sorry, 3 lines. 3 lines, right? So 4, 7, you know what I mean. Anyway, so we're going to jump straight into it. I'm going to teach you guys how to do some basic stuff. This video is going to kind of be long, so make sure you can pause it. You can come back to it. I don't really care. Anyway, so we're going to start off with the first things. Now, for those of you who were at the class and we did this, you'll remember this, but for those of you who did, this is the title tag. Now, the title tag is basically what your website will be titled in the browser. So for everything I'm going to be doing here, I'm going to be using Google Chrome. So here's an example. I like using Tumblr right here for an example because as you can see, it's just got something really simple here. So as you can see, sign up, Tumblr. Now, for this website, basically what they did for their title was they wrote, sign up, oops. That's what they wrote. That's how they got that up here like I showed you guys. So I want you guys to title it whatever you want. Just make sure that it's, somewhat simple. For example, I'm calling this practice. You're going to be calling back to a lot of these things and you don't want super complicated stuff. That's really all we have to do in the title or header right now. Title class right now. So we're just going to move on from that. So now here's your body. Now your body is everything that the web page is basically displaying. Think about the head as having stuff like the title, text color, style for CSS, stuff like that, and the body is everything you want to display. So there's 3 main syntaxes that you can have. Or, well, there's 2 main ones, and then there's a bunch of different ones underneath that. But for right now, the 2 that we're going to learn is the paragraph tag and the header tag. Now, oops. What's really cool about Komodo that you'll notice is that when I add something that has an end normally, it will add it for me, which is really cool. So rather than having to write the p tag and then write the p tag after that, it just adds that, and then I can type whatever I need to in there, and that paragraph is done for me. But first, we're just going to do paragraphs and we're going to do headers, but I'll come back to headers in a second. Now, paragraphs and headers are where you write your text. So paragraph, that's just going to be written in the normal font. Nothing special about it. I think the standard is 12 point Times New Roman black, I think. So anyway, what we would write is, I want you guys again to, you can write anything you want, but make sure it's simple. I'm just writing, I like to write blah because it's very, you know, universally recognized and everything like that. So next we're moving up to I'm sorry guys, I've never done this before, so bear with me. We're moving on to the head tag, and as you can see, the head tag has numbers following it. So we would refer to that as H1, H2, H3, etc., etc. H1 is the biggest, and I think, I'm not certain, I've never done this before, but I think once you get to H6, the text starts becoming smaller than the paragraph, so you wouldn't want to get that far unless you had to. Anyway, the thing that headers do is it makes its text bigger and bold. So, we're gonna write, oops, I had my insert on, apologies. We're gonna write blah, blah again. And that's all we're going to do for this very second, but we're not done yet. So now what you have to do is you have to click on the save icon. You have to save everything you do before you run it. Then you're going to go up to this globe icon, and you're going to click on whichever one you do. So if you use Internet Explorer, you click on this one, Chrome, or if you don't want to open it up in another browser, which I like to, but you don't have to, you can go in a Komodo tab. Click on Preview, and boom, it pops up right here. It's useful if you want to check what it's like without having to open it up in another browser, but I like opening it into a browser because you just get to see everything easier. Anyway, so open it up like this, and as you can see, boom, there we go, we've got it. Now, here's the head as we talked about, and here's the paragraph, and the head, as you can see, is bigger and bolder. So, I want you guys to make sure that you have this right now, and then come back to see this. Okay. Next up, we're gonna do so there's one more that that we can do. I forgot about this one, and it's called break. And it's just like this. So a break is a break in the tag, right? So you don't. Normally people would think that you can just have spaces like this and it'll be fine, but you can't do that. If you want to have a break between your paragraphs, then you're gonna add the break tag, and the break tag does not have to be closed. It can, but you don't have to with that one, and it's much cleaner without having to. But if you want to, I'm not stopping you, but if you want to close it, you have to do it like this. That's considered a closed break tab. Anyway, so I'll just show you guys real quick what it's like with having break elements between text. See, as you can see, 2 empty lines behind that. And you can't see them right now, but, oops, silly me. As you can see, there's 2 empty lines in here, and you can't see them right now, but there would be 2 empty lines under here because we have 2 empty lines here, but there's no text underneath it. Breaks are useful if you want to add spacing and stuff like that, but you can also do that in CSS. I just like using breaks because they're easier to use. Let's see, what is next? Oh, right. This one's not too important, but you can do it if you want to, and that's giving something a title. So, I don't know of an example that I can show you guys right now, but have you ever seen it when you put your mouse over some text and you leave it for a second and some other text comes up? Well, what's that called is giving the text a title. So what you would do is under the opening paragraph tag, you would go title equals. We're just gonna call it blah, just because. Now, as you can see, this is orange, this is blue, and these are yellow. These always have to go together. Everything between these, just like in Python, goes together. So the equals is saying is, right? Very simply. So it's as if you're saying title is this. And you always have to have it in that formula. But as you'll see when we run it, oops, whatever. Hold our mouse over it. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. It does not do that in here. We want to go Chrome. As you can see, there. Oh, I'm so sorry. I keep forgetting that you can't see my second screen. No, as you can see there, we've got it, right? On here, we didn't give it a title. On here, we did. Now, we can also do that, I'm pretty sure, on here as well. Yes, it looks like we can. Let's try that here then. Blah and blah. Yeah, I was right. Okay. So, title. That's good. We've got that going. We are flying through here. Now, next up, links. Links are pretty easy to do. It's when you start getting sorry, my throat hurts. I gotta drink stuff. It's when you start getting into the more complex areas of links that it starts to get tedious. But the most basic thing that you can do is adding a link. And as you can see, it's already got there. So you're going to go href, which is href, and then equals. And then as you can see, we add the quotation marks, and it finishes it for us. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to go for Google. So let me just get the thing in there. So https ://www.google.ca. Boom. And then close it. Now, as you can see, we've got a finisher and then A, because the A, think about it like a P, it always has to be finished. Now, when we save it and run it, oh, my mistake. I missed one thing. Take the, think about the ahref as being like a paragraph tag, and you have to have something written before it. So, as you can see here, we've got a link. Because we denoted the text of Google as being a link. When you click on the text that reads Google, you are taken to Google, as you can see here. So you can't just have a link in there until you make a picture, in which case you would have the ahref and you would define it, and then you would define the picture as being a link to the website. But that comes that's going to come a bit later. Sorry, I'm lost. I don't know which one to do next. Let's do pictures. Let's do pictures next. So next we're going to add a simple picture. Now, what you have to do first is you have to add a picture into your thing first, and you have to save it as a JPEG. So let's try to find a picture that. We're not going to use that one. Well, we're not going to use that one either. Rather it'd be a JPEG. Yeah, okay. That one works. Okay, so what we're gonna do to add an image is we're gonna go image source equals, and then you're gonna add that, and then you're gonna copy this. Control V, and then end it. Now, the picture comes up in a weird way because we haven't done any structuring on that. I'll show you guys how to do that when we reach CSS because it's a hell of a lot easier than using HTML. But as you can see, we've got our picture right here. Boom. Our link went over here. Now, that's what I'm talking about with the spacing. What we can do, though, to make that easier is we can just go back and we can put a break in here. Save it, run it, Chrome, and as you can see, there we go. Because compared to this one, we had no break on there. So this is like directly below the Google sign. This has one break, and if we want to be so bold, we can add a second. Open it up, and as you can see, there's a line under there. All right? You can add breaks to do that, but again, doing CSS is a lot easier. Now, that was adding images. So, hang on. We have already been recording for 16 minutes. So, I think that's good enough for this episode. So, watch this. Practice the stuff that I've shown you. Go through it, run it, make sure you know it, and then we'll meet next week. And if you guys if you guys like doing this, then I'll do it some more. If not, we'll go back to doing it in the classroom. Thanks, guys.